my god, it's Christmas! Yes! Yes! It's best time of the year. Best time of the year. Yes. Video games, everything. Yes! This is all I do during Christmas. I get with my family, we play Mario Kart, and it's yes! But I want to talk about, this is gonna be Christmas. Christmas. Okay. Maybe I should sit down. Like I said earlier, Merry Christmas. I'm going to be doing a Christmas special. Yeah, I'm doing a special. I have no idea why, but apparently I think I'm so big that I can do a Christmas special. Originally, I thought I would send all my subscribers a present, but I thought a video review of my Christmas video games would be a little bit more reasonable for my budget. But since I am the classic gamer, I'm going to go over the very first Christmas gift that I remember that was a video game. And to this day, I still love it. I still appreciate it like no other because it's what got me into gaming. My Christmas gift was, of course, the Nintendo 64. I love this thing. You guys don't even understand how much I love this. It was the greatest gift I had ever gotten when I was a kid. And to this day, I still love it. It's just amazing. It's a great system, and you should all own it. I got 2 games that day. And since I live in North America, there weren't very many release titles, even in other countries. So I had a limited amount. One of the games I got is really popular, and people still consider it one of the greatest games of all time. The other game I got, people kind of forgot about it. So let's talk about the first game that I got. The really popular game that people still think is amazing. If you haven't guessed it by now, shame on you.
It's a Super Mario 64!
This was the first 64 game I ever played. It was one of the first Mario... it was the first Mario game that I ever played. And it's amazing. To this day, it is still my second favorite game of all time. There's just no words to describe how amazing this game is. What has been said already, I shouldn't have to go into this. You guys should know why this game is amazing. Maybe later I'll do a full review where I go into like every level of the game, because if I'm going to do a review about this game, I'm going to try something else and just go every single level. Talk about every single level, because that's probably the only thing I know that hasn't been done yet. And for all I know, it's probably been done too. This game is amazing. It's a gem. There's just countless scenes in it I love. This game is so good. You owe it to yourself as a gamer to at least play this game once in your lifetime. And not just for like 10 seconds or it's like, oh, I played it, call it good. Actually get into it, actually play it. It's a really fun game. It's still appealing to the eyes, where a lot of games have become like, I can't even look at it anymore. I can still look at this game and have no problems with it whatsoever. And yes, I played the DS version. The DS version to me does not hold up nearly as well as the 64 version does. The 64 version is just a classic gem. It's always on people's top 10 video games of all time, and it deserves to be. It's a really good game. In fact, it is a game. I can say that like about very few video games nowadays, but it's a legit game. This is what a game is supposed to be. The only game that I've played that is like legitly all just a game was probably another Mario game that you've probably played if you own a Wii at least, Super Mario Galaxy 2. That game, it's what a video game is supposed to be. It has the entire spirit of a video game. Video games are supposed to be fun and have great gameplay. Everything else is just a bonus. The story, a bonus. The music, a bonus. Heck, everything but gameplay and controls to me is a bonus. Better graphics, yeah, that's a bonus. Get over it. I could sit here all day and talk about this game, but I'm not going to focus too much on this because this game has already got so much praise that I don't need to give it any more. So instead, we're going to focus on a different game. So if you haven't guessed it already, I kind of got my 64 close to launch. And you guys know that I love to collect Nintendo stuff, and I like to have everything Nintendo, so you probably can guess what my second game was. That's right, Shadows of the Empire. What can I say about Shadows of the Empire? It's a really hard game to describe. It's really fun. It's still fun for me to play, but that's might be just nostalgia hitting in because this game was one of my first games. The game does feel like dated, as in graphics wise, because a lot of places look barren and some places are not even fun to look at because it looks just so empty. Especially when you're using the jetpack in level 5 with Boba Fett. It just looks really open and nothing really there. At times it just feels like a game collection because there's just little things adding up. Like there's the spaceship mode, there's the on-land shooting mode, then there's the racing mode, which happens once, and then there's a different flying mode, so, you know, kinda difficult to just sum it up in one go. The music is really, really nice. I love listening to the music, but it does get repetitive sometimes. The title music is every cutscene music for like the story art and the words under it. So you hear that music a lot. And it's not like you don't hear any other song a lot too, because you hear the boss song a lot, but for some reason I just love that, even though I can hear the loop. It's just that it sounds so catchy, I don't even care, it's so good. Sometimes it's hard to time your jumps, but for the most part, it's pretty nice. The auto-aiming on the gun, I like that just because I can just run, shoot, but it kind of makes it a little bit easy, but the enemies are really strong in the first place, so it kind of helps. You will get lost in a few of these levels. The sewer level, I was going back and forth. I didn't know where to go. I was looking for the key, I was looking for the force field thing, I was looking for an exit. It was just crazy, but it was really fun. The bosses are all pretty epic. Not all hard, most of them are hard. What other game do you know where you fight Boba Fett? I'm sure there's another one, but this is the one I remember, because it's Shadows of the Empire. You fight Boba Fett and Slave One. Come on. Then there's the problem of not knowing what is what. First off, the button to open doors on the 64 controller is kind of confusing, because that's not the first thing I thought of when I thought, I wonder how I can open this door. And you can't tell what's a door sometimes and what you can't open. And some doors that open look the same as other doors that need like a key or to press a switch. So that can be kind of confusing and kind of irritating at times. The story's pretty good. I enjoy the story, but there's one problem with the story. You kind of don't understand what the fuck's going on. See, this is a story that kind of you need to know other parts of the story to understand. Like, it puts a book, a comic, and a video game, and to get the entire story of Shadows of the Empire, you kind of have to go to every single one, play it, read it, so that is kind of, but if you've read the book and seen the comic, then you should be good. I've read the comic, have not read the book, so the story makes a little sense to me, but still, kind of confusing. I like the artwork for the stories too, because it looks really nice, even though it does feel dated, it still looks nice. It's not like the cutscenes from the PC version, which look really dated, but look good for its time. And there's no voice acting in this one, even though the voice acting in the PC version's okay. IG-88's voice kinda destroys my soul. Nonetheless, it's a really fun game, and I'm glad that I got it on Christmas, because I can just play it and play it and play it. And if I don't feel like beating the game again, I can just select any level I want, which is really, really nice, even though a lot of levels are divided up into stages. Now, I could just end the review right there and just say, hey, it was a good game, go check it out. But, like I said earlier, the game feels like there's different parts to it, and if I just left it like that without analyzing the game a little bit farther, I wouldn't feel like I've done my job here. So I'm going to go more in-depth about this. In fact, I'm going to go level by level and tell you exactly how I feel about the level and what's good and what's bad about every level. So this is more of like a level analysis, but it's still kind of a review. So I'm going to call it a level analysis review. Okay, so this Christmas special doesn't have very much Christmas in it, so I think I'll add a little of my own little touch to it. So every little scene in here now will have to relate to Christmas. Even if it doesn't relate to Christmas, which none of them do, I'll relate them to Christmas. So starting off at hot, the rebels, the rebels are here to protect Christmas on the Christmas planet. And the Empire is trying to take it over with their droids, their ATSTs, and their AT-ATs. So you must help Luke Skywalker to stop them from taking over the Christmas planet. You buying any of this yet? You will at the end, trust me. Okay, so this is the first flying level in the game, which is the only flying level that doesn't relate to space, which is weird, but it's okay. You start out fighting little drones, which are easy to kill. And since I'm only playing on easy mode, they'll take one hit to kill. When you get to the second stage, you have to start fighting the ATSTs, which take a number of hits, and if you hit them in the head, their hits go down faster. Still nothing really challenging yet, so maybe Act 3 will pick it up a little bit. Act 3, they start throwing out the AT-ATs, which, if you try to fire the blaster at, will take like a millennium before you are done with this. So pretty much all I would do is take the cable, wrap it around their legs, watch them fall, get your challenge point, and then go, hurrah, hurrah, we killed an AT-AT. Just like in the movie. Now, I've played Stage 3 on Jedi mode, and it is hell. Everything kills you in like a few hits, and everything can hit you so easily. I can't believe how easy it is to get hit in Jedi mode. But I digress. We're going to Stage 4 now. Stage 4, it's pretty much the same as Stage 3. Nothing new, except that they doubled the amount of enemies from Stage 3. So after a year passes and you get through with that part, you find that the rebels have lost. So no matter what, you're gonna lose? And so the Empire has taken over Christmas, so our heroes must flee now. But unfortunately, our main hero seems to be stuck. And which brings us to level 2, which actually is my favorite level in the game. I'm not even sure why, I just love this level. I go back to it so many times even after I've beaten it. So Han flies away without even giving you a little hand, fucking bitch. And right away you notice that your blaster will hit them automatically, which is awesome. That means I can just run, shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot. Barely have to worry about aiming. Sometimes they're facing down, but not in this level. This level, they're all just standing up, so it's easy to hit them. So easy. Also, you can tell that there's two different paths right here, where you can take the left or the right. They don't really matter. You can go to both, actually. You can go like to the end of the hallway in the first one, and then go back to the other one, and you'll pretty much end up in the same spot. Now there's doors that open, and these monsters kind of just lurk in these cages, and I'll be honest, this is pretty freaking scary. This is just over my head scary. When I was a little kid, I was just really frightened, but I did learn a little cool trick when I was a kid. I would just open up the doors, walk outside, listen to them fight, wait for one to die, go in, finish the job, and take the Seekers. Is it inhumane? Yes, but I needed those Seekers, so you have to die. Now this level, pretty much every door in the level you have to press a switch to open. So it's not really confusing, like, oh, why won't this one open, why won't this one open? Because the switch is usually just right next to the door. However, like the ones with the monsters inside them, they don't have a switch, so you can just press on the door and it opens, which that is really confusing, but it's not like horribly confusing, so you get used to it after a while. You're like, oh, I can't open this door, that must mean I need a switch. But I kind of wish they would give off like some kind of sign that you can't open them without like a switch or a key, without it actually telling you, hey, you need a key, which will happen later. There are health drops like everywhere in this level, which is good because I find myself getting hurt a lot in this game. Even on easy mode, I get hurt way too often. It's kind of sad. The turrets just take so much health away from me, and it's not even funny. The stormtroopers, not so much. Sometimes it's hard to predict the enemy movements. Like you have to peek through corners. Sometimes there'll be an enemy, sometimes there won't. Just kind of keep on shooting. Hopefully there will be somebody there, and if there's not, well, that's kind of lucky. Now you get to the cross bridge, and I love that. There's a sound that they make when they fall down, and not when I fall down. No. Okay, so like I was saying, there's a sound that the stormtroopers make when they fall down, and it's hilarious. It's like the sound, I don't know what the sound is called, I'd have to look it up, but it's the exact same sound from Star Wars. I think I was a messed up kid, because that scream of death when they were falling always was hilarious to me. So I'm screwed up in the head. So that ends that part of the stage, which for level 2, that stage, not bad, pretty short, so I like that. Then you get to the next level, and there's this cross bridge, and you're thinking, which way do I go? Well, I'm gonna jump right across, get the extra life, get the help, and I'm going to the right, or my left. Okay, I don't care, I'm going this way. Like I said earlier, I don't think the path matters. You end up in the same spot because it just kind of loops back. Then you get to the hangar and you have to press all these switches, which begs my question, why don't they just have one button on each side, at least? I don't think it's that important for the story to go press every single switch. They could have just had one switch on each side, or just one switch in general. They could have just had one switch and said, hey, the power's back, let's go. So this opens up a new path, and when you start, oh my god. When I was a kid, I thought this was the most epic thing ever. The walls just kind of start spreading out, and it's just really cool. I guess nowadays it's just kind of like, whatever. But back then, that was really, really cool. I still think it's really cool. I don't know why. It's just really cool to me. It's just really, really cool to me. And so you go to the next room and holy shit. The first boss in the game is an ATST on the ground. Not in the air, on the ground. So this is gonna take all my cunning, all my strategy to beat this thing. Or just grab the invincible power up and shoot like a madman. Whatever, same thing. And after you beat the boss, the level's not over. You still have to get to your ship. So I'm gonna take this path that goes straight to my ship, and they're just troopers just kind of chilling there, doing their own thing. Okay, whatever. Just shoot them up and get in the ship. Go to whatever door, I don't care, it doesn't matter, I don't think it matters. I'm just gonna go to this door, and that is the end of this level. Hooray! And so our heroes escape the dying Christmas planet and escape into an asteroid field. Not the greatest idea for an escape, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. But the Empire doesn't like that, and so they send the TIE fighters after them. So our hero Dash gets ready to fight them off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the hero's name is Dash Rendar. So, level 3. Pretty much you control a turret and shoot things. You don't control the spaceship, you just shoot things. Yeah, spin around shooting things. Yeah, spinning around and shooting things. I'm sure a redneck would love this game, this part of the game. You don't even do anything, you just sit around shooting things. So none of the enemies really are that difficult to beat. Even the TIE bombers, which can hurt you on that rare occasion, are really easy to take down. And there's some red asteroids that you can shoot and get challenge points, but for the most part, it's not useful. Now, it might sound boring, but it's actually kind of fun, but it's so empty. You shoot at nothing like 100 times. Thank God you have missiles which home on to your enemies, which make life so much easier. There's almost nothing else I can say about this level except shoot 'em up. Level 4 starts out in Imperial City, where we meet our main antagonist of the game. Is it the shadowy figure or, oh, it's the Grinch, okay. The Grinch is in this game, so it is Christmas special, hooray! And so the Grinch has a conversation with his whore about how he'll take over Darth Vader's position as the Emperor's right-hand man, and that he, the Grinch, will rule Christmas. Meanwhile, our friend Dash has landed on a nearby junk planet in search for Boba Fett, but he has no idea where the fuck Boba Fett is, so he's gone and found IG-88. I guess that's close enough, but maybe he can interrogate IG-88 and figure out where Boba Fett is. Okay, so pretty much this is a rail level. It's not a rail shooter, it's a rail level, as in you're on a rail and you're kind of shooting at enemies and dodging and trying not to die and trying not to fall off. Oh my god! Now here's something that always bothers me on this level, is that it always says, warning, sharp turn. It's like, okay. Warning, sharp turn again, okay. This turn is not that sharp. Calm down, rail. Calm down. Okay, in this level you do a lot of jumping and ducking. So you want to duck, jump, duck and jump, duck and jump, just until you make it to the end of the level. And shoot the occasional enemy that comes by. But the level does like to switch it up a little bit. Sometimes they camouflage what you're supposed to dodge or what you're supposed to jump over. And sometimes you'll have to jump to another rail before you sink to the bottom and kind of just die. And there are different trains that you'll see that you can jump onto. Some of them have enemies on them which are mediocrely tough. Is that something? So if you see a new train in front of you, I would jump onto the next one and kind of forget the one behind you. Because you're not going backwards, you're going forwards. Okay, like I was saying, you gotta be careful on the sharp turns, because if you jump in the air, you'll be flung in the other direction, which is, I guess, logical. There are things you can't jump over, and there's things you can't duck under at the same time, so you're gonna have to jump to the next cart. But that lasts for a little bit, and then goes on to a single cart again. Then these orange rays appear, and you have to just kind of shoot them. It takes about 3 shots, so nothing that big. And the entire time you have a full health right next to you. So even if you get hit like a little bit, you can heal yourself instantly. But I'm just gonna kinda let it be there because I don't really need it since I'm at 100 health already. One of the only levels where I can keep 100 health. And then the second card appears, and then you can actually now jump onto it. But it kinda is going backwards, so we're gonna ignore it for now. And this goes on and on and on for a while. And then you get to a new cart. It's kinda ominous. So you walk in, kill the enemies, keep on going forward, try not to fall off, which I just did, oh god. And, okay, but you can keep trying and trying again. The enemies will stay dead, which is nice. That's a recurring thing in the levels, that the enemies will stay dead. So even if you have to restart the level, you don't have to refight every single enemy, which saves time, and I kinda like that. Then you get to a train where you have to just keep on running. Keep on running forward until you get to the end of it. Ooh, there are a few enemies on the train, but they're not that hard to take down. They kind of just have clubs, so they can't actually shoot you. And you'll get some more warning, sharp turn. Warning, sharp turn. And you kind of just ride this same train for a while until you reach the end. Then you'll get to a train that looks significantly different, and you jump on that. You'll have to go to the left because the right has nothing. Jump on the left, jump onto the other train, and then you wait. There's nothing else to do, you just kind of wait there. Huh, well, I guess that makes sense. Well, I'll just wait for a little bit, and let's see how this goes, and oh my god, wait, stop! Hit the brakes! So, apparently Dash lives a giant explosion, and he meets IG-88. And I'm going to admit this right now, this guy scares the living hell out of me. He really does. That first little cutscene with him, that's pretty epic and pretty creepy at the same time. But then you actually see him. He doesn't look that threatening, but you can hear his footsteps everywhere. And that by itself is scary because you can't see him most of the time. You can just hear him. And you can hear him jump too, and that's freaky. And he has amazingly good shots. He is the first hard boss in the game, and you gotta be careful around him because if you let your guard down, he will shoot you so fast, so rapidly, you're gonna get your ass kicked. After a while, you'll get him down, and for some reason, he'll just kinda walk away when he's down low health and not fire back. I'm cool with that. And you will beat him, and that will be the end of stage 4. After Dash destroys the Christmas-hating robot IG-88, he sets out for Boba Fett. Boba Fett is somewhere in the desert, planning on destroying Christmas by himself. But Dash won't have any of that, and sets out to stop him. And try to rescue Han Solo, but, you know, Christmas is more important. This is the level that I was complaining about. It's so barren and empty. It's a fun level, I'm gonna admit that right now, because I enjoy this level. But it's so open and barren. There is nothing around. There are a few hidden little secrets which are cool, but it doesn't help the barrenness of this level. Jumps are kind of really easy to make, so sometimes the point of them is not really making sense to me, but whatever. The enemies are not that hard to take down. The turrets are set up so you can see them beforehand, and if you just shoot randomly, sometimes you'll find the enemy without actually seeing the enemy. The level is almost just kind of like a trail. You're just following this trail, this one path. I know other levels have been kind of like a trail too, but they've had like splitting paths and more of this openness. Even though this is really open, it's still a trail. There's just nothing around it. And yeah, it's the desert, but it's just really hard to look at for me. And those weird Yeti monsters are here too. I don't know what they're called. I'm just gonna call them the Yeti monsters. And they still scare me here too. So you just keep going on and on this trail until you finally reach this little hangar. And dear God, my TV is so dark. It's coming up lighter on this computer, but on my TV screen when I was recording this, it was so impossibly dark. I couldn't see anything on my TV. I had to put the brightness up to like 100% just so I could see everything. And we finally get a little change of pace with the hangar, new design and all that, but the design is still kind of barren. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is much better than the desert. It's still kind of off looking. It's not horrible, but it's just kind of off looking. And this is where you encounter your first puzzle of this level, is when you have to get onto a little platform, press a switch, get back on another little platform, go over, make it through the doors before the doors close. But it's not that hard, so don't even worry about it. The first time you mess up, you're like, oh, okay, now I know what to do, so whoop you do. And if you fall off, don't worry, there's a little elevator that'll bring you back up, so you'll be fine. Hangar, and you just kind of shoot. And enemies are behind like every corner, so you gotta be careful. And I'll admit that these open parts with the bridges are kind of cool. I liked it when I was a kid. I'm like, wow, that's just epic, mister. And it's fun going up the elevator, killing those stormtroopers, and then healing with 40 health because you're injured from all the cheap attacks from the stormtroopers and the little droids that attack you for some reason. And then you make it to this giant tower. And I gotta say, the first time I made it to this giant tower when I was a kid, I was like, this is extremely epic. And because of that nostalgia of saying, oh my god, that is so epic, I still think it's really epic. And I still think this tower is really cool. All I do is push a switch, open the door, and I get a jetpack. This is the first time in the game where you get the jetpack. And you'll get the jetpack later in the game too. This is where this is kind of like the test level for the jetpack. And this is where you can see more of that open space, but it's kind of just testing your jetpack skills, so I'll let it pass. Now, the button to use the jetpack is really weird. I kind of just jumped and said, oh, come on, come on, come on. But you have to press the C left button, which it took me a while to figure that out after not playing this game for a while. But I guess it's not that bad, but it's kind of confusing. I wish it was somewhere else, or you could just double jump, but then you couldn't hover, and I guess that would be inconvenient. So you kind of just jump around these rocks, try to make it to the end, kill all the enemies that are in front of you, and that will end the first stage, going on to the second stage of this level. And at first you're in a dead end zone, you're like, oh no, what do I do? Oh yeah, my jetpack. So you just fly up, then you come to this little hangar zone, shoot the enemies, push a switch, and you get this little cart thing, which is kind of cool. You ride this little cart thing into the next hangar, and holy shit, another one, another one, another one. Now it's weird that this is the last time you see this boss, and then it makes such an early appearance after fighting it again. I think this fight would have made more sense if you fought it in a later level, after you're like, oh no, I remember this boss, and oh man, this is really easy now. But it's just kind of there to show off the jetpack and say, hey, look how much easier this boss fight is now with the jetpack. And so after about an hour of fighting the boss, it goes down, and you have to solve a puzzle. And it's not that hard of a puzzle. You just kind of press this one switch, the first switch you pretty much see, go into the third hangar door, and that's about it for that puzzle. And then these fan blades start attacking you, and they're just pretty much trying to test your timing. There is no use of the jetpack here, so I don't understand why. I guess just to improve your jumping skills and timing. But the ones that are like, you have to jump down, those are really hard to time, and I always get hit by them. I always lose at least like 2 health jumping down. I've very, very rarely got it where I just perfectly do it. But even then, you have to press the jetpack button so you don't hurt yourself after you fall. So yeah, be prepared for some timing skills here. Then you fight these little cheap enemies which are hard to hit. Go up, ride another cart, and get to the next hangar, where you fight a bunch of stormtroopers and you test your timing by pushing a button and trying to get to the other side with your jetpack before the door closes. I think the door closes. I don't know. I've never been too slow not to get into the door. And then you just kind of continue your way fighting stormtroopers. Then you make it to this elevator. You just ride the elevator up. And man, this is a really long elevator. This better have some good payoff. Oh my god, Boba Fett. Yes. It's the king himself, Boba Fett. Now I gotta say, Boba Fett is one of the hardest bosses in this game just because I don't understand how to hurt his slave one. Fighting him is pretty cheap because he shoots you and he'll almost always hit you. He has seekers. He flies over you, and after you get to a part where he just kind of repeatedly does the exact same thing and it's easy to kill him, but his first few shots, he'll get you. And then after you take him down, he gets into his slave one, and for the longest time I could not figure out how to hurt this thing. I hit it once right in the front. I was like, okay, I heard it, okay. And I swear once I hit it in the wing and it hurt it, but for some reason when I was doing this boss fight, nothing was hurting it. And then I finally go to the highest altitude, like the highest ledge on there, fire, and it works. I don't understand. He has to be at a certain altitude to hurt him. That doesn't make any sense. That's why he's a really hard boss, because the conveyance how to beat this boss, it's not clear because I've heard him when he was lower, but apparently it's easier to hurt him when he's higher. I don't understand. This boss is just really, really, really hard. And he is going on hardest boss battles. Trust me, he's going there. I mean, this guy killed me a bunch of times. Hate it. Even this was like my childhood nightmare was fighting this boss. He was just too damn hard for me. I couldn't beat him. Of course I beat him now, and I'm like really pumped about it because I'm like, yeah, I finally figured it out. But come on, game. Convey it better. Let's just go to level 6 and fucking Boba Fett. Dash defeats Boba Fett, but he somehow escapes into the mist of nothing. Dash goes back to warn Luke that Christmas is still in danger, but he finds that Luke himself is in danger. The evil ice cream cone thugs are after Luke Skywalker and want him dead. They are following the evil Grinch and his desires to take over Christmas. But Dash is going to the rescue and taking them all out. Level 6 is the speeder stage, and oh my god, it is so narrow. It is hard to control your ship. Now let me make something really clear here. The controls for the speeder are really nice. Like, I had a friend play this with me, and he's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with these controls. And we came to the conclusion that the walls are just too shallow to navigate through. If we had a... I can't believe I'm saying this after saying this, it's the desert planet. I wish it had a broader scope. Like, somebody should redo this concept on a different game and have it like racing, this speed, these controls, maybe make sharper turns, and call it a racing game. How come nobody has done it? I guess it's kind of like F-Zero, but have it like Star Wars speeders. Come on, why isn't this a thing? We have pod racing, but not speeders. Come on. So pretty much in this level, you're just trying to kill the thugs that are after Luke, and it's not that hard. If you go really, really slow, you can take him out fairly easy. And after you take them all out, you have to finish the level. So it's just kind of like this empty space that you're going through, hitting walls all the time. The only time that I've died is when I go into the mouth of one of those, I don't even know what they're called, one of the pit monsters. There's not much I can say about this level except it was fun. It should be done better. They should redo it into a new game. And that's about it. So Dash meets Luke, and the conversation kind of goes something like this. Luke, I saved you. You did? Yes. Awesome. Should we go take down Jabba the Hutt? Nah, I'll do that. You go stop Shizor. Who? The Grinch. Oh. Yep. Keep me out of the cool stuff? Yep. Fuck you. Okay, this level takes place on a spaceship, and just involves a lot of running and shooting. Running through hallways and just keep on shooting. Now the first thing I'm going to complain about are these doors that you open to open up like a little closet. And you can almost not even tell that they're supposed to be opened. Like, they're not supposed to be opened as in you have to open them, but you can open them and get like power-ups like the invincibility and the health drops. And that can be really annoying because they should be able to convey it as, hey, you can open this. Okay. But you walk in and you can't even tell that that's, you just think it's part of the background. Come on. Come on, game. It is dated. This game is just dated in some things. A lot of things still hold up, but things like this just make it feel so dated. Then you come across this weird hallway, and these turrets start firing at you. And there's like a ton of them. They don't die, and they keep reappearing in this level, and I hate them. I hate them so much. They're in these little boxes, and you have to be at the right angle to hit them without being hit yourself. So it's just a lot of spacing and timing. Then you make it to the spinning platform, and you have to just duck and jump according to what it tells you, like. And it's obvious to tell which one is which because one has something blocking the top, and the other one has something blocking the bottom, so you have to either jump or duck. And then there's that very, very narrow bridge that you're supposed to jump onto, and I almost always fall off. And when you fall off, you lose a little bit of health. And I always just kind of like fly off of it because I'm just curving this unnatural curve. But it's not too bad. It's actually kind of fun to do the little jumping and ducking too. And that will essentially end the stage. It's not that long of a stage. It's pretty much just like I told you, running and shooting, running and shooting. But then you get to the next stage and you get to this room where there are a bunch of hangar doors, and you're like, oh man, what do I do? And you find these switches that are on the side. You're like, okay. You press them, you don't really notice things, but then you see one hangar door open. You're like, okay, but there are 5 of these switches, and there are 3 levels and 2 sides. So you cannot tell which switch opens which hangar on which level on which side. And the switches are on one side of the room and another side of the room, so you have to go back and forth in case you want to do the right doors, because there's a precise combination that you have to do to get up there. And you get to the top and there's all these doors and you think, oh well, it has to be one of these. None of those. It's actually at the very end of the hallway, which looks like a dead end. You turn right and that's how you get out. And that puzzle takes like an hour. And then you come to the loader droid. But turns out he's a pussy. He's one of the easiest bosses in the game. He can't hit you unless he gets right up to you, which makes him super easy. I'd say he's the easiest boss in the game. Kind of disappointing, but you know, he looked cool. That's something, right? So the Grinch pretty much told the Emperor he should allow the rebels to get the computer plans for the Death Star. And the Grinch is really smug about it and said, huh, I made them work for it. Really? Because that droid that you sent out at the very end of that level? Not too hard. And what did the cocky Grinch say about that? Well, he simply said, I will do what Vader cannot. I will deliver the rebels to you. And then I will finally steal Christmas. I mean, you will finally steal Christmas. Let me keep this one short. It's a maze, it's confusing, I don't like it. Going underwater is cool, and the boss is epic. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for this level because I was in there forever. So Dash makes it to the Grinch's palace and he's going to beat him up because Christmas and he needs to and save Han. And you know what? Christmas. We're going to finish this review. We gotta go. We gotta go. Okay, so this place is really, really dark on my TV as well, but it's really, really cool. I like this level. It's like the best design level in the game. I don't know why I like this design, I just do. Maybe it's just the nostalgia hitting me, but I enjoy it. And you get the jetpack in this level, so right off the bat, so that's nice. You get it in the sewer level too, but that place is amazing, and I'm not going to talk about that anymore, because I went into so much depth about it before. And so pretty much you just running upstairs that look awesome and looking for switches and opening doors. Pretty much what you do in other levels. You just have this weird feeling that this right here, this is where shit is gonna hit the fan.
And there are enemies like everywhere. There's robots, there's other robots, there's guys shooting at you, and they do like the most damage out of all the characters in the game. Then there's some more timing puzzles which are annoying because you have to be perfect in this one. This is the hardest timing puzzle in the entire game. You see this little gap and you're like, huh, I wonder what this switch does. Nothing's happening, I guess it does nothing, it's just there. But then the door opens and you see this bridge fall down, it's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Back in the day, that was pretty cool, and I still get a little thrill out of it, so sue me. And I hate the guys in the red suits, they do the most damage and they will not leave you alone. Then you come to this door and you're like, huh, I guess I can't do anything here, so I'll probably have to backtrack to it later. Joy. Then you hit the switch and you ride the elevator down, and you're like, huh, what did I do? What did I do? Then you get this flashback like, the door! I have to head back to the door. Oh god, go, 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 go! How easily solved. And that will end that stage. Going on to the second part of the stage. Then you enter the rooms with the giant gears, and which are by far easier to dodge than the wind turbines. And if you haven't noticed, you don't really need to use your jetpack that much. I find it really weird that you get the jetpack in a level where you hardly ever need it. It's cool to have, but like, just like that one part, that's like one of the parts that you need it at, and it's just like, why haven't in the first place? Who can get up there without stairs? Does everybody in the room have to have jetpacks? Come on. Then you come to this little giant pillar which have a bunch of switches on it, and you kind of have to just run into them and press, which is annoying. And they're on 3 different levels, so if you miss one, you're gonna have to backtrack until you find it. And even after you do that, you gotta figure out which door it opens, because there's more than one. But after a while, you'll figure it out. It's not that hard. It's not even a puzzle, I guess. It's just annoying. Now here's a place where the jetpack is useful when you're flying to the next bridge. That's pretty freaking cool. Shooting the droids and the one guy, and running out to the next part of the stage. But they should have done that more often. They don't do that very often in this level. There's no point in the jetpack. That was like that one part. Like, good job. Then you come into the room with the gladiator droid, which is epic. Like, this right here. This is the coolest boss in the game. He is so epic, it's not even funny. And he's kind of a pushover. If he just kind of shoots his laser, you can use your jetpack for once and kind of fly over his laser. Not too hard. The Grinch isn't pulling all of the stops, but for some reason, and then he gets a flamethrower. No. And Seekers, Jesus, overkill much. Laser can be easy to dodge, but sometimes it just hits you and you can't even figure out why it hits you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. If you're back far enough away, he can't even hit you, so you're good. And that will end the gladiator droid going to, oh, okay, so there's a second phase. I kind of expected that, so nothing big. Just gotta be careful. And the stage changes too, so it's a little bit more creative that way. You actually need to use your jetpack more often. And it's easier for him to get closer to you. Well, I'm getting my ass kicked, so I'm gonna try some different guns. Stunner did nothing. Pulse cannon, hurting it, but not enough. Still get my ass kicked. Okay, I'm totally hitting you. Why is this not hurting you? Pulse. Oh god, Seekers. And I'm just kind of scared. I got Seekers. Let's try the Seekers. Okay. The Seekers aren't seeking, I guess. Can't seek metallic objects. Oh, it does. Okay, I just gotta be careful. 69 health. 63 health. The Seekers are not seeking. I'm so dead. Gotta keep running. Just keep running. Just gotta keep running. Disruptor. Let's try the. Oh my dear god. I took this thing for granted. That is probably the greatest weapon I have ever picked up in my entire life. That is spread shot worthy. Jesus, that was a lot of damage. And then finally we take him down. No. No, you gotta be kidding me. That's a small okay, as long as he doesn't have very many attacks, I guess I'm fine. And I got a jetpack malfunction, so I can't recharge my jetpack. Whoop-de-doo. Well, he's just ahead, so I won't have to use my disruptor, so I'm just gonna fire at him. If I can hit him. Why can't I hit him? Hit him! Okay, I'm gonna die again. I'm gonna die. Disruptor. Can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm gonna die again. Yep, and there we go. Screw this shit. I'm just gonna shoot him with a disruptor and call it good. Dang, that thing is amazing. Disruptor gun? They need more disruptor guns in our life. Well, now he's down to 8%, so I might as well just take him out right now with the regular gun. If I can hit him. Seekers. There we go. Get a huge explosion. We'll survive that, of course. And we go on to the very last stage of the game. The Skyhook battle. The Grinch. Okay, this part escapes me, so I'm gonna try to explain it. Kinda. The Grinch escapes in his spaceship of spaceshipnesses, and the Grinch heads off to the Skyhook. Dash chases him there, but for some reason stops to go shoot random ships instead of going to the Skyhook. Okay. Whatever. Dash knows what he's doing. He's Dash. And you don't fuck with Dash. So this first part of the level is pretty much the exact same thing as the other spaceship level from the third level, except the enemies are a little bit stronger and shoot bombs more frequently. I don't really need to go into much of this because I've already explained it. You're shooting into nothingness for the most part, and the missiles save your lives, especially here. But in the distance you can kind of see something approaching. Actually, you can see two things approaching. One's an Imperial starship and the other... oh god. It's the most epic thing in the world. It's the Skyhook. Now, I gotta admit, the Skyhook is pretty freaking epic. I mean, look at it. It's just amazing looking. It also is the hardest on the fingers. You have to fight off 4 turrets, and the turrets auto-heal at a rapid speed. Look at that! How are you gonna do that? You just gotta press the A button as fast as you can. And there's 4 of these, so you're gonna just break your freaking finger off before you can take out one of them. After you take out all 4 turrets, you have to go fly inside of the Skyhook and shoot it at the core. Kinda like the Death Star in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. Yeah, it's that epic. And this part is really, really cool, but you have to be careful or you will die so quickly. Okay, we tried guns and the blasters didn't do anything. So now we're gonna go attack the Skyhook with missiles. And the missiles seem to be working. Hooray! And if you can't tell, it takes it down by 1/4 every time we go in. And we lose an exit every time we go in. Which begs my question, how are we going to get out after we blast the last exit? I mean, I kinda like living. We'll just make it up as we go. Okay, we're here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Okay, I shot it. The core's gone. We gotta get out of here. Ready, forget it. Just suicide. Yes, Luke. I'm sure he made it out perfectly fine. Fucking idiot. That was probably, even though I died at the end, that was probably the most epic thing ever. No, I'm not even kidding. That was really freaking epic. You have to try that battle at least once in your life. Like, I don't even care if you just skip to that level, like on a friend's cartridge. Just go to that level. It's fun. It is so much fun. And I don't feel like beating this on medium mode, so I'll end it right there. But if you really need to know, Dash doesn't die. Oh, I just saved you an extra difficulty. You're welcome. Well, that's Shadows of the Empire. You should give it a try if you have not already, because it's a really fun game. Is it dated? Yeah, it does feel a little bit dated, but it's still good. The nostalgia. I told you about the Super Mario 64, where I know it's still good.
This one, I think the nostalgia is setting into me and saying, it's good, but it really might not be that good, but I still feel like it's good. And what does it matter? If you like a game and nobody else likes it, so what? You like the game. Like, I remember GameSpot gave, like, Mario Kart 64, like, a review that was, like, below 7, which is, like, cringeworthy. But I still love that game. It's one of my favorite Mario Kart games. It's a lot of my friends' favorite Mario Kart games. So if somebody else doesn't like the game, that doesn't mean you don't have to like the game. It's your opinion. If you like the game, play it. If somebody else doesn't play it, screw them. Play your game. It's your game. People are always like, Sonic fanboys, Mario fanboys, Sony fanboys, COD fanboys. If you like it, leave them alone. Let them play. You troll lulz. Seriously. Merry Christmas. Come together. We are gamers. We're supposed to be coming together. So I hope you enjoyed the Christmas special. It's not your Christmas. It's my Christmas. So it might not have felt Christmassy to you, but it's my Christmas. Now, I have a Santa hat, so that kind of counts, doesn't it? I could show you snow, but there's no snow. This is Classic Gamer powering down. Hoping you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Solstice, Happy Holidays.